Hi, everybody. Good evening. We've got some voices. Everyone muted. Hi, Gota. How are you?
Oh my God, it's been such a wonderful day, not. As you can see, I'm trying to get my husband to take my little boy away. And
You've had some dramas this week, haven't you?
What was that?
I said you've had some dramas this week with losing.
Oh yeah, and then my new laptop literally is just sitting next to me, and we couldn't set it up in time, so I'm on my old phone. My new phone is coming tomorrow. You know all about this, so yeah. But all good.
Let's look at the positives, eh? There's a lot of positives. Yeah. I'm sure they outweigh the negatives.
Oh yeah, definitely. My application with Primus is underway, so I'm well happy about that. How are you? Fabulous. How are you feeling with COVID?
Oh, do you know what? My COVID's gone. I'm back in the office, full of energy. Obviously, you weren't on the call last week, but last week I was slightly more reserved. But no, this week's going to be one of them where hopefully I'll bring some energy to the call. You'll all go away again with some great value. And then come 8 o'clock, you'll be waiting for next week and looking forward to the next one. That's the idea anyway. Hi, Laura. Nice to join us. Thank you.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Hey, Rachel.
Hello.
Hi, Lizzie. And Meg, I believe we've got as well, haven't we?
Hello, everyone.
Hi, Mega.
Hiya.
And of course, we've got Shannon, who's having a fantastic month, by the way, at work. She's smashing her targets with protection. I think you're already pretty much doubling your expected targets.
Yeah, I'm really happy this month. Starting to find my feet, so.
Amazing, good on you.
Hey, Shannon.
Thank you.
I love it. Well, what I'm going to do, I'm going to mute everybody. If anybody needs to chirp up, by all means, unmute yourself. If you've got any questions, pop them in the chat. But we'll move forward because we've got Wendy Matthews on from Zurich at around 6:45. She'll be on for around 45 minutes. She'll be introducing the Zurich proposition, a little bit about the background, and of course, you know, the products themselves. Zurich are new to the Primus panel, and myself and Kaylee sat down a couple of weeks ago and really went through the USPs of what the Zurich proposition is about. And it's a fantastic proposition when you even compare it to the likes of the Guardians and the AIGs that are on offer that are amazing plans. For me, Zurich is definitely up there. So it'll be informative for me as well as you guys tonight to kind of see, you know, what it's all about and how they, I suppose, offer something slightly different from what the other providers do as well. And I don't know if anybody's seen the video earlier this week. At the end, towards the end of the session tonight, we're going to have a little bit of fun, if I'm honest. We're going to actually have a bit of a quiz, and it's all about the Sharpen You Saw Facebook group. Since we've launched that this year, there's been loads of products information that's been put onto the group. The reason to do a quiz is really, you know, test your knowledge for your purpose, not for mine. No, we're not examining you. There's no right or wrong. There's no fails. But for every time you get an answer correctly, we're going to plant another tree. It's going to help the environment, lower the CO2 emissions. And again, it's just a little bit of fun for tonight to bring some like product knowledge in there as well. So welcome. I want to welcome firstly, new member to the team. We've got Agota, who has recently passed her CMAP. By all means, unmute yourself, Agota.
I'm just scared of some untoward noises coming. I just to clarify, this won't be my office. I've got a room upstairs. I just need to buy some bits and bobs. So yeah, it's interesting because I am in the kitchen and my little boy is just near me, but I will make sure that it's all good. My husband is there. But thank you. I'm really looking forward to meeting you all and working with you. Thank you so much. It's great. I am thrilled. I'm sending poor Mark every day a couple of messages. I feel like
anytime, don't you worry. One thing I remember this week, myself and Agota sat down and had a one-to-one informal chat, didn't we, with regards to joining Fortune Financial. And I said, you can either choose that you can trickle along yourself and build your career in your own time, or you can be a superstar. And within about a second, Agota turned around to me and went, I want to be a superstar. So
yeah,
loving it. Absolutely loving it. So good on you. Welcome to the team. Really enjoy the event tonight. I'll put you back on muted. That's okay.
That's fine.
Am I on mute?
Thank
I'm not
you.
mute.
So I always start with a quote. Last week was a bit of a humor one. This one is something that I really, will probably say one of my favorite quotes. It says, whether you think you can or think you can't, you're right. Now, with me and the team, I'm always talking about motivation. I'm always talking about encouraging others. And I'm always talking about having a vision and having goals, you know, for what you want to achieve. And especially for the ones that are really starting a new career that are on the call tonight, I think it's really important for you to set the bar high. Now, some people say you should set your goals so you can't actually ever achieve them. Now, for me, I think that's a great idea for your long-term goals, of course. But when it comes to having a vision, having goals, it's really important to have small rewards, whether it's hitting a target at the end of the month, going to a spa day, taking your partner out for a meal, taking your kids to Legoland, whatever it is, something that makes you go, do you know what, I did that. I'm really happy with what I've achieved. And then you jump off the hamster wheel, you celebrate your success, and then you go again. So the idea of this quote, whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you're right, it's all in your mind. And the limitations within this industry are in your mind. You can take it as far as you want to take it. You can set your expectations as high as you want to take them. And of course, what we're doing at the moment with the one-to-ones that commence this week, we're working with individuals to really set a business plan for you over the next, say, 3-4 weeks, where you've got a clear vision again for the next 12 months minimum, and then moving forward for your career. So really do think about that. When you get up in the morning, think, you know, what do I want? Am I setting my expectations high enough? And have I got a clear vision to what I want to achieve? And whether you think you can or whether you think you can't, you are going to be spot on with regards to that. So over the last couple of weeks, I've been speaking to people about, I suppose, where they need assistance and help within becoming a great advisor, a superstar, as you said to yourself, a go-to, or, you know, a real engine to make yourself a success and bring in the income levels that you're going to want to bring in as well. And we're going to really put some hardcore sessions together to pinpoint down generating referrals within the trust process, within the will process, for within your existing clients, and how to network. So we're going to actually do that away from the Thursday evening events. We'll do it lightly on a Tuesday morning or a Friday afternoon or whatever it may be, something that fits everyone's needs. And we'll really pinpoint down how business can create business, because it's very easy in this world to expect people to come to you. But of course, if you don't put yourself out there by means of who you are, what you're about, you know, where your passion is, then how are people ever going to know that you're the one to go to for it? Now, of course, within this industry, there's many people that are good at doing the protection, the mortgage advice. So you need to stand out from the crowd. So how do you stand out for the crowd in 2022? And for me, the answer to that is you need to be you. You need to put your character across. You need to stop trying to be something you're not. I'm not saying you are doing that at the moment, but don't try to be something you're not. And really put your character out, and what you portray is what you will attract. So if you look at the first little snippet here, it says, identify your ideal customer. So what we mean by that is, as an advisor, regardless of whether it is mortgages or insurance, you need to understand what market you want to work within. There's a little saying that says, birds of a feather flock together. So if you put yourself in a circle of working mums and dads, then you're naturally going to build a client bank of working mums and dads. If you work around the self-employed, then naturally self-employed people know self-employed people. So your clients will create your next clients for you. And again, you can choose a profession that you may specialize in, let's say medical experts. So you might think the NHS is a fantastic service, something we're very proud of in this country. I'd love to specialize in arranging insurances and mortgages for the NHS. The reason I mention the NHS is that today, really exciting, we've just signed a deal with the NHS to be an exclusive broker around Hertfordshire and nationwide as well. They search for us for mortgage and insurance services. So we're giving discounted offers. I suppose We're doing certain rewards for them with regards to using Fortune Financial, and all yourselves can benefit from the benefits that they're offered over and above what Fortune Financial are offering, because there's many different benefits that they get within the employer package. So the NHS is a great area, but again, it's not something you need to pinpoint down for yourself. You're going to find, you know, what makes you happy, and then you wanted to be working in a circle to attract customers within them circles. So really, that's kind of identifying your customers. The next one says, solve their problems and help them reach their goals. Now, from a compliant perspective, what a compliance officer within Primus will train you to do is to fact find a client and establish what their need is. And that is exactly how you should work day to day. It's not about the cost of something. It's not about tailoring your recommendation to the client's budget. What it is, it's about establishing what they need. So the best way of doing that is by listening. It's by looking at their circumstances and establishing, you know, what you need to do for that individual. Have they got children? Do the children need critical illness cover? Have they got a partner? Are they financially dependent upon their partner? Have they got a mortgage? Do they need to protect the mortgage debt? Say, God forbid, the worst happens, they want to make sure that mortgage is cleared as well. So there's many different areas, and everyone's circumstances are totally unique. And I suppose that's what makes, I always say, solving the riddle with regards to the job exciting, because every person you sit down with and every person you speak to on Zoom or over the phone, what you will find is that the circumstance is different and unique, and you will build relationships with all different types of people. But as I say, with regards to the services you offer, you can tailor them to the individuals for their need. Now, there's a little bubble here saying build partnerships. Now, as a self-employed advisor, especially, you're going to want to network. You're going to put yourself in situations where you've got people passing you clients. And how you will get people to do that for you is by knowing your stuff and being good at what you do. Of course, it's also about character. I believe everyone on the call tonight got great character. And it's also about having a passion for what you do and doing it right. Now, if you can put yourself out there and be known as a specialist in your area, for me, that is going to make people sit up, whether that business partnerships will be with an accountant, which is always a great route because they, of course, know every individual's expenses and are they paying for insurances and the mortgages. Solicitors are great introducers as well. Estate agents, letting agents, of course, are great when it comes to selling houses and they need mortgage advice as well. But building partnerships will make your life so much easier, because when it comes to working day to day, you're going to have to juggle a number of balls to keep yourself, firstly, your focus and your attention on point. And secondly, you're also going to want to enjoy what you're doing day to day, week to week, month to month. So if you was doing the same thing all the time, it's going to become a little bit laborious and you're a little bit tiresome, and you're going to think, do you know what, is this for me? Whereas, again, every client is different. What you need to be doing, you need to be networking, dealing with all different types of people, and then having the conversations, coming back to, you know, what their need is. Hi, Wendy, I believe you just come on the call. We'll be with you very shortly. Thank you. So building partnerships is really important. Now, content marketing, you know, you've got to market yourself. And I'm a big believer that if you was to do a post on social media today, asking who wants life insurance, who wants critical illness cover, who wants income protection, you're not going to have anyone bite. You might waste your time for weeks, months, years. Why should someone come to you when you're asking them to come to you? So firstly, what you need to do is you need to give a value to the people your market out there. So content marketing for me, it means, you know, learn your stuff, sharpen your saw, just like the event this evening. Once you know your products and you have a passion for a certain product or a feature or a benefit that one of the providers or one of the lenders are offering, then talk about it. Talk about it through social media platforms, talk about it through video content, and continue to, I say, give value, give value, give value, give value, and then ask. Because if you keep putting information out there, content out there to people and marketing it right, people will look and go, do you know what? I've been listening to Laura on Facebook. I've been listening to Agota on Instagram. I've been listening to Mega or Rachel or Lizzie, whoever, or LinkedIn. And do you know what? She actually knows her stuff. Oh, Glenn, he really knows his stuff. So if, for me, somebody needs a service and there's so many people offering that service, they've got a choice to who to go to. So you need to be the go-to person. And how you do that is by knowing your stuff, again, sharpening your saw, as we call it, and putting it out there. And I suppose coming outside your comfort zone with regards to marketing as well. So you've got to build trust and reputation with quality. I think that speaks for itself. You know, I always say do a proper job. That's really important. You know what I mean? When you're arranging protection for clients, make sure they're aware of what they're taking, make sure they understand what they're taking as well. And then coming on to, you know, offers, discounts, referrals, you know, offer referrals to, ask for referrals from your clients, but give them an incentive. We offer a £50 Amazon voucher to anyone who refers a new client to us who's an existing client. So you've got the ability to offer that as well. There's a lot more I can tell you on that as well. And then it says participate in exhibitions and networking sessions. Networking meetings are great. You get to surround yourself with like-minded people like yourself, whether that's self-employed people, again, accountants, solicitors, business people, people who own companies, people who need your help, need your insurances, need your mortgage advice. So putting yourself out there is definitely what we need to be doing. And the best way of doing it, especially now COVID is out the way, we can start moving forward without any restrictions. Don't work from home every day. Make a point of getting out once, twice a week. So just let Glenn in. Make a point of getting out at least once, twice a week to a busy place, somewhere with a bit of atmosphere that's going to give you some energy. And then what you're going to do, you're going to put yourself around people. You're going to feed out the vibe you've got for what you've learned, what you have a passion for. And then what you're going to do, you're going to attract them people into you. Whatever you give out is what you're going to attract. It's as simple as that. So hopefully that's been informative for you. Now we've got the wonderful Wendy Matthews. Hiya, Wendy.
Good evening, everyone. Thanks for inviting me along tonight.
Thank you so much for coming on. Very much
That's all right.
appreciated. You're our second provider that's come on the session. We had Joanne from LV last week who did a presentation for us, but I can't say enough. We're so excited to hear about Zurich because I know you're new to the Primers panel, and myself and Kaylee, we sat down and had a real look at the USPs and the benefits that come with it. And I think it's an amazing proposition as well. So we're really looking forward to getting our teeth into that.
Yeah, that's good to hear. And the good thing is as well that you've got me as a point of contact. So, you know, anytime that you need any help or assistance with our products, our proposition, our platform, then just give me a ring or drop me an email and I'll be on hand to help and support you.
Amazing.
Have got a presentation, Mark, to share if you can.
Fabulous.
If it'll work, because we normally do teams, so you'll have to.
And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to mute myself as well, because you know I like talking. I know you've only been on 5 minutes, but you'll probably guess that. So if you need anything, by all means, just shout and I'll come back on for you.
So, like I say, I'm not used to using Zoom. So do I just share screen and see what happens?
Yeah, share screen at the bottom. You'll be able to see
I hope
your
I can
presentation.
see my
You should be
notes.
off.
Okay. Oh gosh, I don't want to do. Is that all my stuff?
Yeah, we can see all sorts.
There you go. Right, and then if I just do slideshow.
That's the one, and then across the beginning. There you go.
There you go. Brilliant.
You see,
right.
Great, thank you.
Now, how do I get rid of these pictures so that I can see my notes?
What pictures can you see now? Sorry.
Just I can see like 4 people on the screen.
Okay, if you just hover over the individuals at the top, you should be able to break it down into either minimize or just one person.
I've moved it now. Thank you.
Over to you. Thanks, Wendy.
All right, thank you. So I've got a presentation that I'm going to run through with you all this evening. It should take around about 45 minutes, which is my allocated time. But I'm also open for questions at the end. So jot anything down as we go through it, or if you want to, just jump in and interject rather than me talking at you for 45 minutes. But this presentation that I'm going to go through with you now is a really good overview of the Zurich protection proposition. So we're going to have a look at our critical illness, our income protection, life cover, the system, USPs, and a little bit about our claim statistics as well to kind of bring it all to life for you. Hopefully that's changed, has it, that screen now? Yeah. Excellent. So we do ask that you don't share the presentation with anybody, because I will send you a copy of it after the session, well, tomorrow now, for your own records. But if you just do keep it for your own records, that would be fantastic. And just some learning objectives here for you on the screen, which is basically what I've already said. So let's start the session. Now, the Zurich Life Protection platform is designed with the customer in mind, whether they're looking to protect their family, their mortgage, their business, or put their estate in order. We've got lots of products to satisfy your customers' needs. Now, with life and critical illness, we're going to have a look at the key features on this screen. So life cover, you've got the option to be able to write life cover right up until the customer's 89. And critical illness, we can run to cover them to 74, so just before their 90th and 75th birthdays. The terminal illness definition is where if your client is diagnosed with a terminal illness and they're expected to die within the next 12 months, we will pay out the full sum assured, and that's even if there's less than 12 months left on the policy term as well. You can choose either level, increasing or decreasing cover. If it's increasing, you've got the option of 3%, 5% or RPI. And if it's decreasing, you've actually got the option to select anywhere between 2% and 18% at 2% intervals. We've also got 2 levels of critical illness cover for you to recommend to your clients. We've got our core version, which is called Zurich Critical Illness. And we've got an enhanced version called Zurich Critical Illness Select, which has got additional benefits. So let's take a look at these 2 options next. So our existing critical illness policies are accelerated. So in other words, they also include life cover in them. So they pay out either on the diagnosis of a critical illness or death, whichever comes first. But for advised customers, we've also now introduced standalone critical illness cover, which we only introduced a couple of weeks ago to our proposition, so it's fairly new. This will pay out on diagnosis of a critical illness only, and the customer must survive for at least 14 days to be able to claim on it. So there are instances where this could be a better option for your customers, i.e. if they've got no dependents, or if they've already got life cover, or if they want perhaps to take out a different amount of life cover to critical illness. So it just gives you more options as an advisor. So on the left-hand side, then you can see our core critical illness. This will pay out for 40 full payment conditions. And we also cover 2 additional payment conditions, which will pay out either 25% of the sum assured or 25,000, whichever is the lower. These are for less advanced cancer of the breast or prostate. Now, those additional payments are in addition to the full sum assured. So what we mean by that is if they, let's say a customer had less advanced cancer of the breast and we pay out 25,000, and then that goes on to become a full payment cancer definition. At that point, we would then pay out the full sum assured. So it's on top of the full sum assured. We also have advanced payment options. What this means is if your customer is placed on an NHS waiting list for surgery, so let's say they need heart surgery, we're not going to make them wait until they physically have that surgery carried out to pay out the sum assured. We will pay out as soon as they're put on the NHS waiting list. Again, that gives your customer options as to what they do with that money then. Perhaps they might want to use it to go private if there's a long waiting list with the NHS. And we know at the moment with everything that's been going on that the NHS waiting lists are a lot longer than usual at the moment. Looking over on the right-hand side then, we've got our critical illness select. So how does this differ from the critical illness on the left-hand side? So with select, we cover still everything under the critical illness on the left, but lots of additional conditions as well. So we've got 11 extra serious full payment conditions to give 51 in total, 46 additional payment conditions. So these are for less advanced conditions, giving you a total of 48, 3 extra advanced payment options, giving you a total of 10, And we also do an uplift on our select policy as well. So if you've got a client who's aged less than 50 and they are diagnosed with one of 10 life-changing conditions, so that's things like multiple sclerosis, Parkinson's disease, motor neurone disease, we'd actually double the critical illness payout, either up to the same sum assured as the cover they've got, or a maximum of £100,000. So if somebody's only got 40,000 kick, they're aged less than 50 and they get diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, we actually pay out 80,000 to them. Okay. Pregnancy as well. We cover 5 complications of pregnancy. Again, the age limit on that is age 45. And if it's a specific complication of pregnancy, we'd pay out a lump sum of £5,000. Now, something to be aware of with Zurich is that children's cover is an additional paid for option. So if you do want to include children's benefit, then you will have to make sure that you've included it within the quote. The reason for that is that you may have customers that don't have children, or they don't want to pay for that benefit, so they don't have to if they don't want to. Again, as you can see on here, we've got 2 types of children's benefit. These go hand in hand with whatever you've recommended, so you don't need to choose. So if you recommend in critical illness on the left and you add on children's benefit, you'll automatically get the children's benefit here, because the children are covered for the same conditions as the policy holder. We also cover children for death benefit. So if a child were to pass away between 30 days old and age 22, we would pay out a lump sum of £5,000. Something I believe is quite unique to Zurich is our child conversion benefit. So this is where once the child reaches age 16, between 16 and 22, at any point, that child can come to us and take their critical illness and set it up into a policy in their own name so that it can go on for longer. There's no underwriting. But it would be capped at a maximum of 25,000. So that child can continue with that life and kick going forward, which could be especially good for maybe children that have got pre-existing health conditions. Over on the right-hand side then, with the enhanced children's benefit, again, the children are covered here for exactly the same conditions as the policy holder, so a lot more. If it's a full payment condition, then we would pay out 50% of the sum assured, maximum 25k. And if it's a less advanced, it'd be 25,000 and 25%, whichever's the lower. However, with the children, we also cover 6 child-specific conditions. So that's things like Down syndrome or cerebral palsy. And we do an uplift for the children. So if a child is diagnosed with a full payment cancer definition, or stroke and they require overseas treatment, we would actually pay out up to 3 times for that one child, so potentially 75,000. And also bear in mind, if you've written 2 separate policies for mum and dad, and you've included the enhanced children's benefit on both policies, so they're both paying a premium, they could both claim for that one child and therefore get up to £150,000. At the very bottom, you can see that the death benefit is enhanced as well, where we cover the child from 24 weeks of pregnancy, as opposed from 30 days old on the left. So our enhanced children's benefit is one of the best that's available on the market. And the good thing about it as well is, regardless if somebody's got 1 child or they've got 5 children, they still pay the 1 extra premium when you add it on. We don't charge per child. So for those customers that have got multiple children, it's even more cost effective for them to add it on. Does anyone have any questions around that slide, because it's quite detailed, or shall I just carry on?
Wendy, what I would say is, having knowledge of children's critical illness cover with a lot of the providers, that proposition on the enhanced is amazing. It's very good. So yeah, so any advice on here that dealing with clients that have got children, there's, I think the second biggest claim on critical illness plans is children's critical illness cover, the first being cancer, of course.
Yeah,
so anyone who's got
unfortunately.
children, you need to make sure you're ensuring the children are protected, because God forbid something happens, you know where you want to be as a parent. You're not at work, you're with your children as well. So that's
Yeah.
really, it's really.
And let's face it, a lump sum of 25,000 could mean that you could have that time off work to take, you know, say to your employer, I need to be with my child at that time of need. Obviously, you're not going to be worried about money. If your employer lets you have that time off, it's unlikely they're going to pay you.
Absolutely.
You know, but they'd let you have it, but they're not going to pay you. So that lump sum can mean that peace of mind for that family, that they can be with their child and not worry about paying the mortgage, etc. Okay, so with Zurich, we have automatically included some benefits which are detailed here on the left. So I'll run through those with you now. I'm not going to go into too much detail because I'm going to drop you an email with the copy of the presentation, but some links to our document library. So you can have a look at our mortgage-free cover document, the underwriting-free cover document, and they're only 4 pages long, but there are certain terms and conditions of when they start and when they cease. So you just need to be aware of that. If you are doing a policy with us and we need to go for further medical evidence, as long as you've completed the direct debit details on our application form, they'll automatically qualify for underwriting free cover. And you can see there the amounts for life and kick. And if that policy is specifically being written to protect a mortgage, then they'll also qualify for mortgage free cover as well, subject to, like I say, T's and C's, because I think there's age caps on it.
Wendy,
Now
sorry to keep chirping up, but on that, the underwriting free cover, is that classed as accidental death, or is that a full life cover?
Yeah. Well, it's full, so it would be accident or what have you. Yeah, anything.
Wow, brilliant.
Yeah. Now, the milestone benefit, I really like this because a lot of advisors, I think, forget that this is here. So what we mean by milestone benefit is if your customer's having a certain life event, so a milestone in their life, such as getting married, divorced, having a baby, moving house, or borrowing more money on the mortgage for the main residence, we can increase their existing sum assured with no underwriting under that benefit option. So our platform, our system is really forward thinking and really advanced, so that once a policy is in place, even though it started, you can still go in and make amendments to existing policies. So you just go in, go to my policies, find your customer, click that you want to do a milestone benefit, up the sum assured, and then that would take effect the following policy month. All we would need you to do is send us proof of that life event within 90 days. So we'd need to see a mortgage offer or a birth certificate, etc. But completely no underwriting. So they can again use it up to the sum assured that they've got already, or maximum 200k. But that one is a real, I think it's underused. Like I say, people forget about it, but you know, there's lots of situations where that could be really handy. We also do separation benefit. So if you have recommended a joint policy and customers go on to split up and go their separate ways, we will allow you to take out 2 single life policies, or one if only one of them wants to continue with the cover. But as long as it's up to the same sum assured and term, there'll be no underwriting again. All you need to do for that one is contact our servicing team and we'll set that up for you, and you'd be paid commission on that new policy as well. Over on the right hand side, you can see that we do have additional paid for options. So we've already talked about the children's benefit, but we've also got multi-fracture cover. Again, I'm going to talk about this in a few slides on, but TPD, if you've got a customer that has an accident or an injury that leaves them incapacitated, or an illness, we would pay out and pay out the full sum assured in that event. Now, we've just enhanced our TPD definitions because we used to just offer own occupation, but now we do work tasks as well. And we've increased it to from age 65 to 71. So again, that's a really good enhancement to our TPD definition. With your waiver of premium, if you want to include that, again, if the customer's off work, unable to work because of sickness or injury, we'll pay the premiums on their policy after 6 months. Now, I know you guys are, you do mortgages. I don't know if you would get involved so much with the likes of renewable term and conversion option, but I'll just summarize these for you. And if you want to know more, let me know. So again, you've got the option of a renewable option. You'd need to add that on at quote stage, and then we'd build that into the premium and it'd be slightly higher. The renewable option means that at the end of your customer's policy term, we would allow them to take out the same term and the same again with no underwriting. So you're basically paying for that guaranteed insurability again. The conversion option also offers guaranteed insurability, but this is slightly different in that you can convert all or part of the sum assured to a whole of life policy at any time during the policy term with no underwriting. Now, bizarrely, there are only 2 providers that offer a conversion option at the moment on the protection market, and we're one of them. So again, it's not something that's very common, but it could be that if that comes up in a conversation with a client and they're looking specifically for whole of life, you can quote them for the conversion option as well as whole of life, because quite often the conversion option works out a lot cheaper initially, and then they can convert it in the future. Both the renewable and conversion option can only be used with either level or increasing plans, not on decreasing. And you can remove those options going forward as well. So if you've included either of them and the customer's circumstances change, you can go in, remove those benefits, and the premium will drop down, and the level term or the increasing term policy would just continue. Now we're going to move on to income protection. We calculate the maximum monthly benefit differently to any other provider on the market, and we use a calculation which is based on 80% of net earnings. Now, we've worked out that for customers that earn up to 50k a year, this will actually secure a higher income protection benefit than any other method. You don't need to worry about how you work that out, because we've just got a simple calculator on our website. You put in their gross salary and we tell you what the maximum monthly benefit is. We've got the full range of deferred periods that you'd expect. So 4 weeks, 8 weeks, 13, 26, 52, and even the less common 104 for those customers that are lucky enough to have really good employers' sick pay benefits. And again, you can choose either level or increasing cover. And if it's increasing, you've got the option of 3%, 5%, or RPI. The customer will get a letter every year if it's increasing, and they've got the option to decline that increase. They can decline it up to 3 times before we remove it altogether. And we've also got the ability for you to recommend a 2-year limited benefit claim period for your customers. So again, for those customers where perhaps full income protection is too expensive, or they're not willing to pay that amount of premium, you can meet them in the middle rather than having full cover or nothing. Meet in the middle and say, well, at least with 2 years, you've got 3 months sick pay from your employer, then Zurich will pay you for up to 2 years as well. It's likely, within that 2 years that they'll go back to work at some point, unless it's a critical illness, and then hopefully they'd have critical illness and get that paid out anyway for something more serious. And just like our critical illness, we've got 2 options of income protection for you to recommend to your customers. Income Protection Select is on the right-hand side, but it is simply these 5 additional benefits here. That's the difference. So it will be slightly more premium when you're sourcing. And again, I'll send you a link to the document that explains what these 5 additional benefits are and do for your customer, so that you can explain that to them confidently. Now, what I would say about income protection is historically it was pretty much what it said on the tin. It would pay out and replace your income that you've lost from your employer in the event of sickness. But over the years, income protection policies have really come into their own, in so much as that they now offer so much more within that policy than the replacement income. So what I mean by that is you could have a customer that tells you and shows you their sick pay from work and they get paid for 6 months. And therefore they might be off work sick and think, well, there's no point in me phoning Zurich because they're not going to pay out till I've been off work for 6 months. That's completely wrong. We want them to pick up the phone and talk to us and put a claim in as soon as they are ill, because we've got a fantastic team of rehabilitation support nurses who are on hand to support your customers back to health and back to work. You know, you could be having somebody that's got a bad back, for example, and if they don't get that support initially, that could lead on to mental health problems because they're in so much pain, they're not sleeping. And right from day one, we can support them with that. We can sort out things like chiropractors, physiotherapists, counselling, and they've got that person to talk to on the end of the phone. So I think when you're talking to customers about income protection, it's also getting that point across that it is there from day one to support them. Not everybody's got a family at home. You know, some people might live on their own and they might be really struggling if they can't work. I'm just going to pick out a couple of other features that we've got on the left. So return to work package. If your customer is off and we're paying a claim and then they get better and go back to work, it could be that they go back on reduced hours. We will top up the difference in pay for up to 24 months. And also it could be that they've had to actually change jobs and do something completely different, and that might be less pay than what they were doing before. So again, we'll top up the difference still for up to 2 years. With a linked claim, if your customer is off for a reason, let's say it's a bad back, we pay the claim and then they go back to work, but they become ill again with a bad back within a 12-month period, we will pay the claim straight from day one. We won't make them sit through another deferred period. And that bad back is just an example. It just means it's the same. It's the same illness that they claimed on the first time. I'm going to run through on the select then what these extra 5 features are. So the family carer benefit, this is where it's your client's spouse, civil partner or child that's too ill to look after themselves, not actually your client that's ill. And we'll pay out either the monthly benefit or £1,500 a month for up to 12 months. But their child or spouse, civil partner, must be unable to routinely do any 3 of 6 activities of daily living. Trauma benefit, so if your customer has an accident or illness that leaves them with life-changing conditions, this is things like blindness, deafness, loss of speech, loss of hand or foot, paralysis, or the loss of the ability to live independently, we'd pay out a lump sum of 6 times the monthly benefit. And if they have to be in hospital overnight, once they've been in hospital for more than 6 consecutive nights, from night 7 onwards, we will give them £100 per night for up to 90 nights to help with the cost of being in hospital. Needle stick benefit. So if your client's working in an environment with needles and they have an accident at work that gives them either HIV, hepatitis B or hepatitis C, then again, we'll pay out 6 times the monthly benefit. And lastly, the funeral benefit. So if your customer dies during the policy term of the income protection, again, we'll pay out 6 times the monthly benefit, but that's capped at 10,000. You can see down the bottom that you've got the ability as well to add on multi-fracture cover, but with Zurich, the multi-fracture cover can be added on to anything. So even if you've recommended life only, you can still add on multi-fracture cover. So let's take a look at this in a bit more detail. There are only 2 providers on the market that offer multi-fracture cover. And by multi, we mean that you can claim for different injuries within the one accident, or you can claim more than once per policy year. So again, I would say that our multi-fracture cover is the best, if not one of the best. I've got that the wrong way around, on the market. It is £6.90 per person per month. and you can add it on and take it off at any time, and we don't underwrite it. So you might have a customer that says, I broke my leg last year playing football. You recommend multi-fracture cover, and they say to you, well, they're not going to give me multi-fracture cover because I broke my leg last year. They're not going to pay out if I break my leg again. We will. We don't underwrite. So as long as they can have life, CI or IP, they can have multi-fracture cover. We don't care if they sit in an office or if they're up scaffolding on a rooftop. It's still £6.90 per month per person. So it's a really good add-on to any protection, and we get loads and loads of claims in for our multi-fracture cover. We pay out between 2,000 and 6,000. So it's either 2,000, 4,000 or 6,000, depending on what you've done. And it's capped at £6,000 per policy year. Again, we're only one of 2 providers that cover dislocations, ruptures and ligament tears. All of the other providers only cover fractures. Now, it's so easy to claim on as well. We just need the discharge summary from the hospital, and we assess the claim usually within a couple of working days, and then we backs the money, the lump sum, straight into your client's bank account. So they've got that money straight away to pay their mortgage or their bills. So have a think about those customers that might benefit from the multi-fracture cover, perhaps self-employed people, because if they did injure themselves, they might not be able to go to work. This would enable them, this lump sum, like I say, to pay the mortgage and the bills for a month or 2. People that do sports and activities that are quite physical, or even people that do physical manual jobs. Or let's face it, anyone can have a slip, trip or a fall and damage themselves. We've got a fantastic multi-fracture cover sales aid. And again, I'll send you the link to this on an email. And this is for you to share with your customers. This is just one page of it, but it's really clear for your customer to see exactly what it's going to do. And you can see that where we cover dislocations, ruptures and tears, we cover a lot more than those providers that only cover breaks. Also, you'll probably notice that the sums assured that we pay out are high, a lot higher than the other providers or the majority of the other providers. So yeah, it's a really, really good addition to your toolkit when you're talking to your customers about protection. Now, you just need to be mindful that there are a few activities that we have had to put exclusions on where we won't pay out for, and these are detailed on page 1 of our sales aid, but I'm just going to run through them with you now. So we won't pay out if your customers injured themselves through BMX or mountain biking, boxing, Gaelic football, horse riding, hurling, martial arts or cage fighting, motor car or motorcycle sport, rugby or shinty. So everything else is covered. Normal football's covered, skiing's covered. Again, we're one of the providers that's got the least exclusions on our plan, and they are set in stone. You know, it's not vague, it's clear what we're going to pay out on. So a little bit earlier, I touched on the fact that our system is completely flexible. And if you look on the left here at the contractual change section, we've got a document on our website which details all of the changes that you can make on a customer's plan that's already in place. So you know what it's like. Sometimes you can do the protection and then 3 or 4 months later you get a phone call from the customer saying, I need to change it. And if it's locked down and set in stone, you could be banging your head up against a brick wall thinking I've got to start all over again, resourcing, doing all the underwriting and creating all that admin for you as well from a compliance point of view. With us, you can just go in, retrieve the policy and make that change. If it's going to be something that's more risk to us, we will need to underwrite. If it's less risk, we won't. So there's lots of things that we don't need to underwrite for. And don't forget as well on the right hand side that you've got that milestone benefit that, you know, if they've got that life event, you can always take that into consideration as well. Our platform, I don't know how many of you submitted a case with us yet, but our platform, our life protection platform, is really advisor friendly. Everything that you need to do on there is self-service, so you can submit your application. It's completely paperless. We do electronic AMRAs, we do delegated underwriting, which I'll cover off again in a minute. We've got online trusts, don't need direct debits, it's all just keyed onto the system. You've got the ability to, when we offer you terms, you've got the ability to go in and tweak and make amendments, and you can go in and have a look at all your applications in the pipeline and see exactly what we're waiting for. We've also got a retention option on there, which shows you any clients that are at risk. Maybe they've missed a payment on the direct debit. If you go into your retention box every now and again, you'll see any clients that, if anybody in there, it'll mean they've missed a payment, and you can jump on it, get in touch with the customer, and we'll give you details of what we're waiting for, what we need, and any potential clawback and how much it is if they don't sort it out. So advisors find that really useful as well. Once the policy starts, the customers also get access to a customer portal, and this is purely where they can just go on and view their policy documents, so they can't change any of the cover. We do allow them to change their personal details. If they maybe want to update their email address or their mobile number, they can do that, but they cannot touch any of the actual cover that's in place. It's literally just a view option for them to see what they've got. Delegated underwriting option, then, what's this? So on the application, just before you get into the medical questions with your customer, you can click a button and click that you want to delegate all of that medical questions to the customer. And if it's a joint application, you can click which one. If it's only one or both, we'll email them. They'll get to see what you kind of see at your end, where they just go in and click yes, no, and fill out all the medical underwriting. Now, you might ask, what is the benefit to you as an advisor to do that? Because some advisors I talk to get quite twitchy about losing control and not wanting to use it. So a couple of positives for it is, obviously, you're busy people, so you can spend quite a lot of time. I'm an ex-advisor, so I know how long you can spend filling out a life application or a critical illness or income protection application. It can take up to an hour sometimes. So by doing the delegated option, it allows you to have that hour back to do something else, or maybe get another client signed up, or submit some other business. We also noticed when we did some sampling that the customers that completed the medical information themselves were more open and honest and upfront with the answers, as opposed to giving an advisor the medical answers. And of course, you've always got those cases where you might be talking to a client who's got something pretty confidential on their medical history, and they may not feel comfortable talking to you about it. So that takes away that embarrassment, that uncomfortableness, and they can just get on and do it themselves. When they complete it and send it back to us, you'll get an email notification to say it's complete, and you just sign in, pick up the application and push it through to decision. So the customer does not get to see the decision, you do, and you're still in control. Likewise, if you delegate it and the customer's dragging the heels and not doing it, and you think, right, I need to get this sorted, you can regain control and you can phone them up and still do it over the phone with them, or face to face, if you wanted to take back that control. It's really, really flexible. Our platform is, again, completely interactive. So you'll get asked when you submit a case, do you want to do it fixed route? Do you want to do it interactive route? We want you to go down the interactive route, because that enables you, if the client says yes to a medical question, the interactive route will then ask another question based on that last answer. So you have a much better chance of the system being able to make a point of sale decision for you. If you go down the fixed route and click yes, it will just go on to another question. Therefore, it probably will need to go in front of an underwriter, and it may be that we need to go for extra information from the GP, which can delay things, and none of us want that. You also get paid slightly higher commission on the interactive route as well. And whilst many cases do receive an immediate underwriting decision, some will need to be referred to underwriting and may not receive standard terms. So if we do have to decline a benefit, We'll endeavour to offer the best alternative terms to your customer. So if, for example, you've applied for life and critical illness and we can't offer critical illness, we'll still offer you terms for life only. Or if it's a joint life case and one of the lives is declined, we'll offer terms on a single life basis. If we rate a case, we give you two options. So rather than just showing you the rated terms, we also show you the reduced sum assured available for the original premium that you quoted that client, so that you can go back with both figures and have that conversation with them about how they want to proceed. By having that available on our system, it does mean that you're able to proceed with cases a lot quicker, and there's a lot less delays on your applications. Now, I don't know, again, if any of you have had a look yet at our Zurich intermediary website, but it's very easy to navigate your way around, and we've got lots of support on there for you. We've got a tools and calculators section where you can do your income protection benefits and loads of other things on there, especially one of my favourites is the dual deferred, where you've got customers that get paid full pay for so many months, then half pay for so many months, and you're trying to figure out what the benefit would be when it drops to half pay. Our calculator works it out for you and gives you a nice little graph that you can show your customer. And another really good USP that we've got is our online pre-application underwriting tool. So any point of the day or night or the weekend, if you want to do a pre-app, you can just log in, click pre-app, put your customers' details in, and we'll give you indicative terms of what we can offer your customers and any ratings. As an additional benefit as well, we've got an added value benefit. We've got Zurich support services. So for every customer that takes out a policy with Zurich, once that policy starts, they've got access to this helpline, which is available 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. It is provided by our independent partner called Workplace Options, and literally your customer can just pick up the phone and speak to somebody about anything that's bothering them in complete confidence, and it's not going to go on the GP records. They can also arrange up to 6 face-to-face counselling sessions as well, really quickly. And again, if they go down that route, it's not going on the NHS GP details, and it'll be completely confidential. Not only your clients, but their immediate family can use this as well. So anybody else in the house, including children, they can phone up and use it whenever they want to. And there's no limit on whenever they use it. You know, it's not capped at 3 times a month or what have you. They could phone up every day if they wanted to, and there's no charge. So just to have a look at our claims statistics then. Currently, we're still finalising our full year claims for 2021. So these are just looking at the first half. Bear with me because I've been talking, I've got a dry throat. I like this slide because it brings to life everything that we've just talked about and makes it real, because you're talking to your customers not knowing whether that policy that you're recommending is actually going to get claimed on. And let's face it, you know, in an ideal world, we wouldn't want it to be claimed on. We would want that monthly premium to just, you know, be paid out and never make a claim, because let's face it, who wants to get a critical illness or die prematurely? But unfortunately, as you know, it happens. So the whole point of having that financial stability there is to ensure that that person or their family are not going to lose their house, they're not going to lose their standard of living, that they can still have as much of a life as they did before they became ill or they lost their partner. So half year life claims, then you can see we paid out 99% of our claims, 18 million based on COVID and 167.8 in total. So that is to your customers' families that get that money, and it enables them to pay off the mortgages and live You know, they're not uprooting the kids and having to downsize or what have you. Critical illness, we paid out 91% of claims. You can see on there what the biggest claims are, and obviously cancer is the main one. You might be thinking, well, why did they only pay out 91% of claims? The main reason is misrepresentation or non-disclosure. So it's really key as an advisor, before your customer fills out those medical questions, that you really emphasize the importance of answering it honestly. Don't be embarrassed. They need to know, because you don't want to be in a position of paying out all this money every month, month on month, year on year. You go to make a claim and they won't pay out. We don't want that, you don't want it, and your customer doesn't want it. So they need to be open and honest with us, even if it means that they're going to have to pay a slightly higher premium. Ultimately, we will pay out. Also, it's slightly lower as well because maybe somebody's claimed on a condition that isn't covered on our policy. So as an example, I had a couple of advisors recently phone me to say that one of their customers, is two separate incidents of the same thing, had a hysterectomy. Now, at first thought, I was like, well, a hysterectomy isn't a critical illness, so we're not going to pay out. But I don't know, the advisor doesn't know what was the underlying reason why that client had to have a hysterectomy. Could it be something that's classed as a critical illness on our plan? So we always recommend, if they think they've got a claim or they want to make a claim, just get it in and we'll get all the medical evidence and decide for them. Don't let them think, oh, well, it's not covered. And we count that as a claim that we haven't paid, even though, strictly speaking, it's not a valid claim. Income protection. You can see that the couple of main reasons why people claim on our income protection policy is musculoskeletal disorders, don't like that word, as we said earlier, bad backs, and also mental health, neither of which are covered under critical illness. So the chances are, if your customer's going to be off work sick, nearly 50% of claims are going to be for those reasons, one of those two reasons. And if they've only got critical illness, tough. What are they going to have to live on? They're going to have no money coming in. Also, you can see under the life bit at the bottom, the multi-fracture cover. So we've only had multi-fracture cover since October 18, so it's not even been running 4 years yet. So you would think that not massive amounts of people have got it, yet we still paid out in 6 months over £568,000. And when they can only claim either 2, 4 or 6,000, that is a lot of claims. Zurich is committed, we're nearly finished. Zurich is committed to being one of the most responsible and impactful businesses in the world. And together we can bring the vision to life. We're all about sustainability, hence why our platform is all paperless. Everything's done by email, and we like you to click paper for your online for your customers as well, rather than paper. So we've partnered with Tree Nation, and every plan that goes on risk, we plant a tree in the Zurich forest, which is in Madagascar. And so far, I think we've planted over 40,000 trees. And again, we're getting, well, it says on there 130,000 trees. Where did I get 40,000 from then? It's a lot higher. It's getting late, sorry. We get, again, good feedback from advisors about this, that the customers have come back to the advisor saying, oh, I've got a tree planted. You know, they get quite excited about it. So it's all good. As well as me, as your account manager, you've got lots of support at Zurich. On the bottom of my email signature, you'll see a contact us. If you click it, it will take you through to our website and all the different teams or departments, depending on what it is you're looking to do. And that's it, we're all finished. So that's the summary of the learning objectives that we covered off. So thank you for listening. And I'll ask if you've got any questions.
Thank you, Wendy, that was amazing.
I take it I'm not sharing my screen now, just for peace of mind. I'm not sharing, am I? You can't see
any
anything.
questions? Yeah, please unmute yourself. No, you're not sharing anymore.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, feel free to ask me any questions, or if you don't feel comfortable in front of everyone, phone me email me. I'm not going to be in the office next week because it's half term, but I'm around all day tomorrow and obviously back in on the 28th. Something that when I was listening to you, Mark, at the beginning before my session started, I just wanted to, there was something that I picked up, actually. It was on LinkedIn. So for those of you that aren't on LinkedIn, and I know a few of you are because I've connected with you already, I pick up some really good nuggets on there from the protection industry. And there's a speaker on there, I can't remember his name, but he one of the tips that he said about when you're talking to customers is don't make it about you. So there's no point in me and as an advisor saying, I've won this award, I've done so many mortgages. I was top mortgage advisor last year in my firm. Don't brag and make it about you. You make it about them. So it's saying to the customer, this is what I can do for you. I can make sure that you stay in your house. I can make sure that if you're ill, you and your family are protected. See what I mean? So absolutely. I thought that was absolutely brilliant, because some people, some clients do have preconceived ideas about insurance, and that it's, you're trying to sell it, you're just trying to sell me insurance, you know. And it's like, no, I'm trying to recommend insurance to you, and the reason is because I don't want you phoning me up in the future and having you, I've got a duty of care, this is my responsibility. If I'm giving you this debt, this mortgage, then I've got a duty of care to make sure it's fully protected for you and your family.
Love it. Absolutely. Very well put. And
all right.
Wendy, I've got to say as well, your presentation was fantastic, very well presented. And two things. Firstly, the policy is unbelievable. And when the advisors go away and compare it with the other providers we've got on the primers panel, you'll see that there's so many unique points that you've presented there, which we'll pick up again when we have more time. And the second one is, I love your wallpaper, your sausage dogs behind you.
Normally on Teams, I've got a background like you, which is the Zurich corporate one, but on Zoom, I can't put it on. So yeah,
it looks great.
I've got a sausage dog. So, and when we started working from home, it was all grey, and I said, I need something to brighten up this room.
Bless you. Oh, you mentioned earlier as well about sending over some links to the website and that side of things. That'd be great if you can do that. But
yeah, I'll do that tomorrow for you. Yeah, you're more than welcome. Good to see you all, and I'll catch up with you very soon.
Bless you. You enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks, Wendy.
Take care. Bye.
Right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. By all means, unmute yourself. Do you know, on these sessions, I like picking on people, don't I? So what I just want to quickly say is you've got so much information there from Wendy. Kaylee, I'm going to come to you quickly. Just give me one point that stood out for you.
Not a benefit as such. I just think it really humanizes the, like, why we do what we do. Like, it's not just about you know, having a GP amazing app in there for the sake of having it in there because you're paying a premium and it's a great kit, like sidekick thing. Yeah. I think, you know, the multi-fracture cover, that needle stick benefit, it just makes sense, like, because, you know, if you're clumsy like I am, I need multi-fracture cover. You know, like, it's just, it just makes sense. It's brilliant. Yeah, no, I'm sold on Zurich. I love it.
Awesome. Thank you. And Rachel, I'm going to come to you. I missed you off last week.
Yeah,
thought you enjoyed that one with Wendy. How are you? You good?
Yeah, you?
Rachel?
Can you hear me?
We can hear you. Sorry. Yeah. What stood out for you with the presentation?
The enhanced child benefit.
Absolutely.
5K benefit from 24 weeks pregnant.
Yeah, and as I mentioned before, you know, anyone with children or planning on having children, you know what I mean, if God forbid something happens to your child, you want to be there. You want to make sure that they're getting the right treatment, quick treatment, fast treatment. I mean, that all costs money. Do you mean, as fantastic as the NHS are in this country, you know, there's waiting lists, you know what I mean? It's not that easy. So again, these kind of policies aren't just for your clients so they can clear a mortgage. They're not just to replace their income if they're off work for a few months. It's to make sure that the whole family are protected. So yeah, I love that, Rachel. Good point.
Yeah.
Lizzie, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, Lizzie. What stood out for you?
I think the as they've already said about the fracture cover and the child benefit was really, really interesting. It's like you say, being a parent, you want the best for your child, don't you?
Absolutely. Yeah, very much so. So yeah, so literally the Zurich plan there, when you do compare it to the other providers, you'll see that there's so many USPs. And what I'll do, I've picked a lot of points out of that, and I'll fire them bullet points over on the Facebook group and the advisor chat as well, just to pull them out so you can see exactly, where they stand out from other providers as well. So let's jump over to what to protect for your clients. Okay, so I'm going to keep everyone involved in this. The purpose of doing this is that we get business development managers on the calls, and they're going to come on and talk about the proposition. They're going to talk about the types of cover they offer. But of course, we really need to bring it back to the bare bones of, why are we arranging protection for clients? What's the purpose of putting a protection policy in place? So let me go to Glenn as an example. Glenn, are you there?
I am.
Hey, Glenn, how are you? You good?
All right, how are you?
Yeah, good, mate. Thank you. There's a few clues on the screen for you to make it slightly easier.
Yeah.
Give us an example of why someone would arrange protection, and I'll go into detail on how we do that and the reasons around that.
To protect your family and your loved ones.
Absolutely. Good one. So you're looking at the first picture on the left to take it. So, your family tend to be supported, especially in what you do and the home you live in, etc., by means of the financial stability. So when it comes to events like, accidents, sickness, disability, serious illnesses, critical illnesses, or even, God forbid, the worst, somebody passing away, then the family need to ensure they've got, I suppose, peace of mind by having financial security in place. So Glenn, you just mentioned there, protecting the family. It's that peace of mind that these policies give clients. And that's great words to use with customers. I need to give you peace of mind, like Wendy said. Talk about them. Do you know what I mean? In the event of this happening, you need to ensure that you have the property over your head. The mortgage is going to be cleared for you to make sure that you are safe and your children are not suffering even further. So great point, Glenn. Meg Ha, can I get you? Meg Ha, you there?
Hi, yeah, I'm here.
How are you? You
Yeah.
good?
Yes, I'm very well, thank you.
So away from protecting the family, what else can we protect by means of protection policies?
Actually, recently have been my approach to everyone. Just let's protect the family while we are on the earth and while we are gone from the earth. This is my first thing that I'm just giving messages to everyone, whoever I'm meeting. Like the best protection is just like to give the best for our family, for arranging their proper mortgages and protect from any kind of illness. And when we are gone away, just make sure that like you just taught me that day, like inheritance tax and everyone, so make trust. So this is my approach about the protection policies nowadays.
Oh, that's good.
And I'm today's session when Wendy was talking about like pregnancies and multifractures, it's just like very emotional moment for me, because I found like pregnancy and having a child is just the real happiness on the word that any woman or any couple can ask for. When they suffer, when they struggle to get a child, they come to fertility center and different centers. So of course, this is the another kind of protection policy that I would like to discuss with new families and young families.
Fantastic answer, that, Mega. Absolutely. So yeah, you're talking about, the children, you're talking about the family in themselves, especially the likes of illnesses, critical illnesses. So again, what this is showing here is, reasons around why we protect, and you've hit the nail on the head there. And for me, there's 3 to 4 key areas that we really need to cover. Now, the reason for the house on the right-hand side is that we've got what's called mortgage protection. The reason for the family on the left, we've got something called family protection or personal protection. And then we've got the money that represents income. So you've got income protection. And then sadly, you've got the little character in the middle who's, you know, the Grim Reaper pointing his finger. And that's to do with, you know, funeral cover. So these four areas, they can be covered through the likes of life insurance, serious illness cover or critical illness cover. And depending upon what they're looking to actually, for the purpose they're looking to be set up for, there's really a couple of ways of doing it. You've got decreasing policies that fall, and they're there to tailor towards a mortgage when you're repaying your mortgage, because of course, as you're paying your mortgage, the balance is falling month in, month out, year in, year out. So the level of cover can fall also month in, month out, year in, year out. So as the term goes on, the policy is worth less of a value. So of course, that style of policy is a cheaper option than the alternative, which is a policy that pays a lump sum amount guaranteed throughout the term of the policy. So regardless of whether it will pay today, next week, next month, next year, or in 10, 20 years, that sum, let's say 100,000, what it started with, will be £100,000 payout down the line. So the reason for the two styles of policies is exactly for protecting, let's say, a mortgage. So again, if you was to have a repayment mortgage, capital and interest, you're going to have what's called a decreasing policy. If a client has a joint mortgage, they should have a joint policy. They shouldn't have single policies. They've got one mortgage, they should have one policy. It's that simple. But then protecting the mortgage in itself is one thing, but again, you can't eat bricks. A family living in a mortgage-free home who have lost maybe one of the spouse are now suffering financially by means of one of the incomes no longer coming into the household. So it's important to not only protect the debt, but also provide something over and above by means of a lump sum. So that lump sum is where we're referring to family or personal protection. And again, that can be life or critical illness. And how that tends to be advised within the industry is preferable, or come away from the mortgage being the mortgage term and the mortgage balance. This is about the individual and the income and when they tend to retire. So it tends to be a multiple of salary. So if someone earns £20,000 a year, we might give them 5 times salary, £100,000 over the mortgage debt up until the retirement age of, say, 65. So they know by the time they get to 65, they're retiring for a purpose that they're financially secure. They no longer need protection in place. That's why they're leaving the job and they're looking forward to enjoying their retirement. So the two types of cover, mortgage protection or personal and family protection, tend to work hand in hand. And I briefly showed you last week on the solution builder system that you can build a plan that does that job. Firstly, pays the mortgage off, and then secondly, over and above, gives you that financial injection. So, of course, the money, the income protection, critical illnesses and serious illnesses tend to be very severe. If you was to break your leg, it's not a critical illness. If you was to have a sore back and be out of work for a few months, it's not a critical illness. If you was to stump your toe and not being able to go to work for a few weeks, it's not a critical illness. So income protection provides you with a monthly benefit, not an annual lump sum, a monthly benefit of a percentage of your income every month. So I'm going to come to, let's have a look. I'm going to throw a question at you. I'm going to come to Shannon. Yeah, I like how you laugh. Why does a provider only allow you to have, say, 60 or 70% of your income as a benefit? Or as Zurich has just shown, they give you 80% of the net income. Why not 100%?
You got me on this one.
Oh,
so
don't
can't do
know.
100% purely because I can't answer it. I'm sorry.
Gota, do you know the answer? Gota, do you know the answer?
I think because knowing the nature of human nature, people would just duck out of working forever.
Absolutely.
That would the 80% would give them a comfortable life, as opposed to nothing. 80% is still better than nothing,
absolutely.
But yeah, I think that is the answer, but not
correct.
I think so.
That's correct. Yes. So essentially what you're saying is, if you've got a policy that's replaced your income as in its entirety, 100%, why go back to work? So what people tend to do is protect a monthly benefit that ensures that the mortgage payments, maybe the rent, of course, the usual costs for utilities, etc., and a little bit of a lifestyle is covered. So that might even be 30, 40% of their income. It might be 50, 60%. What we tend to find is 60% of their income is the norm across all the providers. The likes of British Friendly will allow you to take it to 70%. And Zurich have just mentioned they'll allow you to do 80, but of the net income, which if I got my calculator out now, it's probably around the 60% of gross when we work out that math. So income protection, again, it's there to protect you by offering a monthly benefit for accidents, for sickness, whether that's short term, a little bit of flu, broke your leg, sore backs again, or even in critical illnesses as well. So it provides you with an income, whether short term or long term. And again, as Wendy were mentioning on the call, Zurich will offer a 2-year payment period or a full term, meaning that if you claim, it'll pay out for up to 24 months. So if you're still unwell and can't return to work on the let's say, the lower level style plan, your policy ends, you're financially then in trouble. So the better policy would be the full term benefit that would pay out as of today, if you're off work for an accident or sickness or disability, and then continue to pay for you all the way up until your retirement age, what that would have been anticipated, whether that's 65, 67, 70 with some providers as well. So the only other thing to say on income protection is that some people have protection through their employer. So they'll have income protection by means of employer benefits. And let's say we look at an NHS worker or a government worker, like a police officer, etc. They're likely going to get 6 months full pay, which is a fantastic benefit to have. But 6 months isn't a very long time. So of course, beyond 6 months, what do they do? So these policies can be tailored to match the employer benefits and actually commence claim period beyond that initial period that they would receive the benefit from their employer. So if you were to set a policy up for a police officer who has the 6 months full pay, the deferment period, as they call it, will be set to 6 months. Beyond 6 months, they would then make a claim, and then it would continue to pay out up until retirement or up until the benefit maxed out by means of whether it were a 2-year, a 5-year, a 10-year policy. Depends what you chose for your customer and your clients. So with regards to income protection, for me, income protection should be right up there at the top because it's the foundations of everything you do, your income. Then you can also argue that if you're out of work short term, you can beg, steal or borrow. Whereas if you do pass away, there's nothing else you can do. No one's coming back. So by means of prioritizing, I've come to the conclusion over the last 18 years that I've been doing protection advice is that there's no right or wrong for these products. There's a need for everybody. And for me, I believe something's better than nothing in all areas, and building a policy is going to be a much better option to cover a number of angles rather than just giving a life insurance policy to a client or just giving someone an income protection. Work to the budget, tailor some different covers that work in sync with each other, and make sure they've got peace of mind then in all areas. And I suppose what I'm trying to say is, we do a proper job is what I'm getting at. So I can see time's ticking on. I'm just going to quickly jump onto interim referrals. I know we've got 8 advisors now joining as of since end of January, which is great. Big shout out to Rachel, who's currently winning with 13 referrals in. I think majority of them are for protection. Glenn's close behind with 9. Laura's started off, she's got a couple in there. And also I know that Anu has referred to in the last couple of days, and a goal to you started. Sending these in is absolutely gold for you to see firsthand with an advisor how they deal with a client. So if you can start to network, talk about what you're learning today, and ask people probably 2 questions initially. Have you got life insurance? And if they have, can I review it for you? Or secondly, no, you've not got life insurance. Why not? Let's get it sorted for you. If you start there, you probably find that 7, 8 out of 10 people are your clients and your customers to start with. So we're just going to fly through a lot of questions now. This is the fun bit of the session. Now, I've been weighing up the best way of doing this. And what I would ask you to do is, as we go through the slides, by all means use your mobiles and take pictures of the questions. And what I'd like you to do is jot down your answers for me. Now, at the end of the quiz, at the end of the presentation today, I want you to WhatsApp me your answers. Now, if you only get 2 answers right, it doesn't matter, because what it gives you the ability to do is go away and find out the other answers for me. Now, the purpose of doing this today is all to plant trees. Every question you get right, we're going to plant a tree. So I believe there's 16 points available. There's about 12 questions, but a few of the questions have got 2 or 3 answers within them. So there's about 16 trees per advisor. So we've got about 7 or 8 on the call at the minute, and the advisors that couldn't make it tonight, no doubt will watch it back. They'll put them through as well. So every time you get a question right, again, we'll plant a tree for you. But then if you don't get a question right, I'm also going to message you back and I'll give you the ability to go away and find me the right answer. And if you do that, we'll still plant that tree for you. So I'd encourage you to go out there, get some products information together. So let's have a bit of fun. Everybody ready? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Sure you are. Thanks, Kaylee. I just got a little laugh off Glenn. Seen it, mate. So first question, everybody. AIG have 2 added benefits with their individual protection plans. What are these called? I'll give you a few clues on the way through as well. So when you take a policy for life cover, critical illness, income protection with AIG, they've got a couple of features that you get added in for no cost. So yeah, take a picture of the answers, sorry, the questions, and then you can always refer back if needs be. Next questions come in. Which provider offers your client automatic upgrades when this provider enhances their proposition? Now, it's the only one on the market. Critical illness is being diagnosed more and more and more. The good news is it's been diagnosed much earlier and being caught much earlier as well. So what happens with that, because medical treatment is becoming more advanced, the policies are adapting and they're becoming a lot better. They're paying out earlier and the severity there then, because it's lower, the claims are being made earlier as well. With this provider, any enhancements they make now or throughout the policy term, you will benefit from the upgrades without having to take a new policy and go through all the underwriting again. So which provider offers your clients automatic upgrades? Next question. British Friendly offers 3 types of income protection for your customers. What are they known as? We've just been talking income protection. So there's a little bit of a clue there. Of course, I said you could pay out up until retirement. You could pay out for 2, 3, 5, 10 years, depending upon the style of plan. Little clue for you there. On to the next. Which provider offers protection plans for clients with a significantly high BMI? So BMI, body mass index, is referring to your client's height and weight. Of course, BMI is the polite way of saying it to a customer, and we'd encourage you to always use that over height and weight. But of course, when somebody is significantly high with the BMIs, what that tends to say to a provider is that they're a higher risk. Could be more susceptible to the likes of heart conditions, and of course, health can come downhill. So we've got a provider on the panel that will allow you to take cover for your clients. And I believe, Kaylee, what we're saying, are we saying about BMI of 48 or something?
40 to 46.
40 to 46, so nearly there. Well done. Thank you. Next question. Which provider offers a support for advisors toolkit to guide client conversations? Put my tongue back in for that one. I don't know where the apple tree come from, but I thought we'd get a bit fruity on this question. So yeah, there's a toolkit you can use as an advisor to guide client conversations. So which provider offers it? Next question. Your client has previously been diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. They've struggled to obtain cover before. Who's your go-to provider as they offer a unique plan for diabetes? And the latter of the question is the key for this one. Who's your go-to provider? Next question. What tool can be used to give a rough idea of the chances of events happening before your chosen retirement? And there's a little clue for you there. I'm not going to read that out. So there's a tool you can use. It might give you some kind of percentages. You know how you're going to die. Can you get a critical illness? What's the chances of you being off work? What's it? Next question. My favorite question. Aviva offer an amazing add-on called Global Treatment. How much does this cost per month? Shannon, are you asleep?
Hello.
Are you there? Global Treatment. What do you know about Global Treatment while we're doing the question?
Global
Don't tell me how
treatment.
much it costs, neither.
Oh, okay. Right. So global treatment obviously is where you go overseas if there's no treatment available in the UK for critical illnesses, and Aviva will actually pay out up to £2 million per person, and that's your travel, accommodation, treatment, everything, which is amazing.
It is. So it sounds expensive. Thanks, Shannon. So how much would that cost per month? Next question. That's an easy one for you. What is the death rate in the UK? You know, many people take out life insurance for a reason. I mean, what is the death rate in the UK? Little clue before we get going on this one. It was in the presentation last week on Sharpen the Saw. You'll all get access to it. What's the name of the protection sourcing system you receive access to via Primus for protection? Yeah. So you can go on there and essentially bring all the provider quotes into one place and build a policy for your customers within this system. Do you remember what it's called? Which provider offers serious illness cover, not critical illness cover? There's only one out there, and they're well known for it. Give you a clue, pink. Which charity the Fortune Financial sponsor? So the clue on this one is we're not talking about the trees this time. We're talking about our official sponsor. Who is it? Very proud. And this is the last question, I believe. I might slip up by it not being in a second, so I apologise if that's the case, but I'm sure it is. Now, don't ask me where the sloth came from. We've seen it when we were searching for trees and we just thought we can't leave him out. We felt sorry for him. But who offers Halo, a support service package for the policyholder and their immediate family? So which provider offers Halo? If you know who it is, but you don't know what Halo is, have a look at it because it's very good. I know, again, Zurich, it isn't Zurich, by the way, but Wendy's just talked about some services you get with their policies. For me, the Halo one, it offers immense policy benefits for that provider's plans. Nearly said it then. So, just to recap on the questions, I'm only joking, that's it. So, with regards to your answers, if you can directly message me your answers on WhatsApp, I'll tell you what score you got. You won't be judged, do not worry. But then also, once you've got your score, I'll give you the answers and say what you got right and wrong. If you want to go away and work out what the other answers are that we didn't quite get right, we'll still plant them trees for you. So we're looking tonight to what? We've got 16 points. We're going to have about, I'd say, 9-10 advisors that will be actually doing the quiz once they've either watched the video or they're here this evening. So, you know, well over 100 trees is my maths that we can plant tonight on the back of the Sharpen You Saw session. I can hear my phone going off already. Someone's keen. So coming soon next week, we've got Vitality. It's something very different from the likes of the Zurichs, the LV policies. It's something that will, for me, get you excited. It's something that you can offer your clients that they'll want to hear about. It's something that's not something talking about a negative situation. It's something talking about something they want to do day in, day out, week in, week out, and they want to hear more about. It's an exciting one next week. We've then got British Friendly on. We've also got AIG followed by that. And then just to let you know, we're going to have our senior mortgage broker, Cade Somerville, who's I know is mentoring a few of you. He's going to come on and do a session after the final session we've got here, which will be, I think it's the 17th of March. And he's going to do a session on mortgages and sourcing mortgages, recommending mortgages. Now, if you're a protection advisor, for me, it's really important for you to have this knowledge as well as the guys who've done CMAP or who are going to be doing mortgage advice as well. So get involved in that session, because when you're speaking to clients, sometimes protection is related to mortgages. Of course, you want to be picking up mortgage renewal dates because you can earn from them through the referral arm as well. And of course, you're going to want to progress to being a mortgage advisor, what I expect for a lot of you, whether it's going to be short-term or long-term. So that knowledge you'll get from Cade will be fantastic. And then we're going to have a wills and trusts and generating clients and referrals with Kaylee. That's coming towards the end of March. So we've got some real good energy sessions coming, as well as product providers and BDMs. So I really do just, look forward to them. And regards to this evening, I thank you all for your time. We've run over slightly, so sorry about that. But if you've got any questions on tonight's session, fire them over to me on the WhatsApp. We'll get them answered for you. Put them on the group so everyone benefits. And of course, if you want to recap on anything this evening, the session is going to be recorded, and we'll get it on the YouTube channel as soon as possible and get the link sent out as well. So I'm going to stop the share so I can see everyone's pretty faces again. And if anyone's got any questions, stay on the chat. I'll get them answered for you. Other than that, enjoy the rest of your evening. And thanks again for your time.
Mark,
Hello.
can you hear me?
I will just stop the share, sorry. Let's bring you back. We've got some music playing over there. I don't know if you know this, Goldsir, but I used to be a DJ in my previous time.
Oh, I'm gonna come to that one day. I'm gonna ask you, what music do you like? Because me and my husband are into our electronic music as well. But yeah, no, my question is not that.